welcome the class of 2020. Please rise. It takes a little longer when you're 6 feet apart.
Can I take it out?
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Good job, Maddie.
Everything takes a little longer when you're 6 feet apart. Nice job, Maddie. You may have a seat. Good morning. I am Mark Hansen, principal of Bigfork High School. It is my pleasure to welcome family members and those watching at home to the commencement exercises of the graduating class of 2020. At this time, please welcome School Board Member Christina, Zach Anderson, along with Superintendent of Bigfork Schools, Mr. Matt Jensen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here to celebrate our seniors. Today is a special day for graduates and their families. Please recognize each graduate deserves to enjoy their moment as they are being honored with their diploma. Keep your applause to the appropriate length so the next graduate's name may also be heard. I'm honored to stand in front of the class of 2020. I first wanted to say, I missed you. It's been a long time, and I cannot believe that I've come to the end of your senior year, that it would be 2.5 months and seeing you virtually and not in person. As Mr. Bodenhammer has stated many times, it is much nicer to see people in 3D than it is in 2D. Charles Windall stated, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. I believe you reacted beautifully to the situation as well as those encounters that we have all encountered in the past 2.5 months. I understand that these past months have been a challenge and not a way you envisioned to finish your senior year. But look now how you've changed because of it. You learned how to balance online learning while at the same time taking care of yourself and others for a job. You became an adult overnight. Fun, right? Maya stated in the Norris Code that you survived. I would say you thrived. You as well as the staff took this challenge and accomplished great things. You didn't miss a beat when it came to continuing your learning, even though some of you, it was not the preferred style of learning. Well, for most of you anyhow. Because we went virtual, I was able to witness Asher, I think it's called TikTok, videotaped himself leaping over tall pyramids of red Solo cups in slow motion. So without this pandemic, I would have never seen that. I was able to see how you represented yourself in your profile pictures because you didn't want your teacher to see that you're still in bed for all 7 classes. Along with this, I'd like to acknowledge the Cave Club and its seniors for winning the Presidential Environmental Youth Award and for continued work in collecting information on bat population in caves. Congratulations. Patty Emsley for winning the Valley-wide contest, designing the new logo for the Sheriff's Department. How many of you will now use? I knew that lady that put that design on there. Does that give me a free pass? Any of you? Paper's got a little wet again. Also, I'd like to recognize Micah Miller, Wyatt Reichenbach, and Alec Taylor for starting a band, No Class, about the same time the quarantine started, and we actually had no class. Alec, Micah, Wyatt, something behind this? This is just to name a few of the amazing groups of seniors. I know you missed out on prom, ring sports. This Mackinac, you're the 2-time state champion. Shot put. And I should say, skip days. It was no fun having skip days when nobody was noticing you were skipping days, was it? But you're able to spend time with your families and learn the importance of being there for each other. One last bit of wisdom before you leave me. My advice to you is to continue to do your best work, be your best self, which will serve you as you continue on your journey to excellence. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Senior Class President Benjamin Keller to the stage to give the class introduction.
A few weeks ago, I was asked to give the senior class of 2020 a few words of wisdom. So here they are. Wisdom, 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 wisdom. Thank you.
See, you improvised a little bit on the speech you gave me. Good job. Thank you, Ben. It is now time to recognize the two students that are representing this graduating class as valedictorians and the colleges they will be attending. Please hold your applause until I finish reading both names. These two young ladies are truly amazing. It is very difficult to get through 4 years with a perfect 4.0. With true grit, determination, sweat, and most likely tears, these two accomplished just that. As I call your name, please join me on the stage. Meredith Bedford, attending Whitworth College. Elizabeth Kirby, attending Carroll College. Our first speaker today will be Elizabeth Kirby.
Hi everyone. I'll be the first to admit that I've struggled finding words for you all today. For 13 years, we've anticipated how it would be to be right where we are now. Though we may not have pictured our send-off into the real world this way, we are now able to realize that we've been living in the real world this whole time. Graduating high school doesn't mean you're beyond drama, deadlines, or uncontrollable circumstances. We've spent countless hours in preparation for the real world. However, I think we can all unanimously agree that the real world is not something you can prepare for. Life is unpredictable and won't always go the way we planned. Over the course of our senior year, we've been asked countless times, what are your plans after high school? I'm sure all of you have perfected a response by now. You may just list off the college you're planning to attend or the career you plan to pursue. Some of you may shrug and give a short, I don't know, and hope that the people will stop asking. I want to reassure you that it is more than okay to stray from the detailed itinerary of the life you've imagined for yourself. If we've learned anything from this roller coaster of a year, it is that the future does not, nor will it ever, cater to our desires and our carefully laid out plans. This may seem disheartening, but it shouldn't be. From this moment forward, I encourage each of you to do it all, even if it seems too risky. I encourage you to stop living at the mercy of circumstances and to pursue every passion. Take advantage of the time you've been given, even if you make mistakes. Now, more than ever, is the time to take risks. As things are already messy in our world, it is the perfect opportunity to use the strength and perseverance I know you all have to find beauty in modest spots. Be an active part of the change you want to see. Apply for that job, go on that adventure, join in life fearlessly. It is up to each and every one of us, individually, regardless of our past or our present, to take responsibility for our future. So many of us are tempted to choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality, but no salary or statistic will ever determine your satisfaction in the life you've built. Never sell yourself short. You deserve every happiness available. Because the time we spend is a precious gift that is ever so fragile and fleeting. Our freedom, our opportunities, and the things we so often take for granted may disappear at any moment. With that being said, I encourage you to grow beyond this town, but never forget what this community has done for you. Never live in fear of the unknown. Live simply in hope for a better future. There is no doubt in my mind that every single one of you will honor the hard work of our parents, guardians, and teachers who've raised us. Personally, I would like to thank my parents who've always supported me. Going forward into our futures, I am more than excited to see a world with our influence on it. Live a good life, and as Mrs. White would say, have a great day, and be careful.
faculty members, and students. Thank you all for being here today. Well, class of 2020, we did it. We're graduating today. We started from the bottom and now we're here. We started from the bottom and now the whole team is here. You might be thinking that was a line from the famous poet and philosopher, Drake. But I assure you that came straight from the heart and from Drake's song. The journey to get to where we are today was one full of laughs, hardships, friendly nudges from Mrs. Shanks that claimed if we didn't turn in our assignments, we would be in a world of hurt. Memories, discoveries, and so much more. By the way, we all absolutely love you, Mrs. Shanks, and without you, a lot of us would not be here today. But above all else, the journey to get to where we are today was that of an unconventional one. I think I speak for everyone when I say that this senior year was not what we expected it to be. No one could have predicted that the coronavirus would come in and disrupt the latter half of our senior year. Well, no one except maybe The Simpsons, who predicted numerous historical events in their episodes. But I think I've been watching too many conspiracy theory videos during quarantine. I also think that if we're not careful, we can get caught up in focusing on all of the things we've missed due to the infamous COVID-19, such as prom, spring sports, a traditional graduation. It's been tough, there's no denying that. But I know we are not the type of class to sulk in matters that are out of our control. Therefore, I am up here today to remind us of all of the amazing achievements we have accomplished since our freshman year of high school until now, and the goals we have reached in spite of COVID-19. And we have accomplished some pretty significant feats. And if anyone cares to disagree, you know what I say? I say, tell that to Nate Frizzell, who went viral on TikTok. Let's reflect back to freshman year, to a time when things were simpler, and I wasn't selling toilet paper on the black market, because back then, people were buying normal amounts. During our freshman year, the high school was under construction, but so were we. Trying to navigate a new territory brought about several unforeseen challenges. One of the most prominent being the challenge of finding ourselves and trying to figure out where we would belong. Walking through the front doors of BHS the first day of freshman year can be daunting, and where it may be natural for freshmen to want to lay low or blend in, our class instead took the bull by the horns and found the different areas where we could allocate our talents. In fact, one of the things I admire most about our class is the wide variety of programs we have influenced. Some of us found our calling in the Cave Club, others were drawn towards tying flies and English outbound. Even more people found their place contributing to the school newspaper, yearbook, the band, student council, sports teams, the art program, and more. Our freshman year can be summarized as a year of self-growth. Not only did we adapt to high school expectations, but we made the microcosm that is BHS a better place. Sophomore year brought on a whole new set of challenges. Sophomore year in and of itself is difficult because you are not yet an upperclassman, but you are also not the new kids on the block anymore. Instead, you are the dreaded middle child. Sophomore year is a huge testament of perseverance because you just have to put your head down and work. That being said, we did some great work sophomore year. The Honors World History class performed some dramatic and outstanding Greek tragedies. Our class as a whole learned how to master 3.8 paragraphs in Mr. Tudor's English class, and who could forget about the pig dissection in Mrs. Heupel's biology class. Let me be the first to say that a pig dissection scented candle would not sell. Our class demonstrated tremendous persistence throughout the entire year, but I think one individual really helped show the entire class what it meant to persevere. In the summer before sophomore year, one of my closest friends, Carly Stodchill, was diagnosed with cancer. Throughout her entire battle with cancer, she kept such a positive attitude and showed all of us what it means to be strong and courageous. Carly's level of determination is an embodiment of what us graduates seek to achieve in regards to how we overcome obstacles in our lives. The fact that Carly beat cancer signifies the indomitable spirit that we as an entire class exude every day. By the time junior year rolled around, we felt like seasoned pros at high school. Skills such as time management, discipline, work ethic, and effort had all become second nature to us. And although some of us may have already been feeling early onset senioritis, we didn't let that stop us from putting quality work into our assignments. Overall, junior year was smooth sailing. Now senior year, as mentioned before, has been unconventional. Having to adjust to online learning for the fourth quarter was definitely a unique experience. And I have to hand it to the school for being so prepared for the transition from in-class to at-home learning. Yet there were still some unavoidable struggles we had to endure as a result of online schooling. The worst being, in my humble opinion, unreliable Wi-Fi. But after some reflection, I have come to the realization that having to transfer to online classes was not nearly as difficult as it was to go without seeing my friends and peers every day, like I usually would have if we were still going to school. The circumstances that we face as a result of the coronavirus made me more aware and far more appreciative of the positive impact that we all have on each other. I would personally like to thank Isabella Santa-Stephen and Emily Bonner for keeping my spirits raised throughout this pandemic with their thoughtful FaceTime calls. We as a class should feel proud that even when we can't be with each other physically, we still find ways to support one another. We are always looking out for each other. I know the friendships I have made in this class are ones that I will cherish for the rest of my life. As we transition into the next phase of our lives, whether that be going straight into the workforce or going on to college, I am confident that the tools we learn from BHS will propel each and every one of us into a successful future. We have the teachers to thank for this. Speaking of teachers, I think I've learned a lot about the teachers over the past 4 years. For instance, Mr. Feller holds the record for the most students to cry during his math tests. Guilty. It's okay though, those tests made me stronger. Or here's another great one. When Mr. Jessup takes a sick day, he's really just fly fishing. I know, awesome, right? In all reality, I would like to express my gratitude on behalf of the class of 2020 for all of the valuable lessons our teachers have taught us. And I would also like to extend our thanks to all of the coaches, parents, guardians, and faculty who have influenced us into becoming the bright people we are today. As my speech starts to draw to a close, I would like to address what I believe makes our class, the class of 2020, so special. And that would be all of the brilliant character traits we possess. The characteristics that have served us well in high school and will continue to serve us as we move forward in our lives. First, consistency. I see consistency in the way Ben Keller wears the color orange every single day. Seriously, Ben, I'm surprised you don't have a custom-made orange cap and gown for this occasion. Athleticism. I see athleticism when I remember Colt Thorness dunking on somebody in a basketball game, or when Ashton McAnally won the state shot put her junior year. I see spirit when I watch Courtney Bays lead the student section in chants and cheers. I see leadership when I look at the contributions Josephine Howlett and Maya Hardick have made to the journalism program. Finally, I see hardcoreness, which I know is not real world, but it sounded the best in my speech, so please bear with me. I see hardcoreness when I listen to Alec Taylor, Micah Miller, and Wyatt Reichenbach play in their band, No Class. My personal favorite song they perform is called Breaking the Law, which if you know me at all is incredibly ironic. But what can I say, that song is hardcore. If I had the time, I would say something about each and every one of you, because the truth is, every single person here today brings something unique to the table. The class of 2020 has proven that when we come together and combine our myriad of talents, we can do anything. And now, as we go our separate ways, we as individuals can still do anything. Remember in life that you lose some and win some, but that doesn't matter as long as the outcome is income. Yes, that was again the wise words of Drake. Finally, I want to end on a more serious note. Although she was not in our class, the devastating loss of Sailor Grace Martins undoubtedly impacted the class of 2020. We tragically lost Sailor this past summer, and it hit the entire community hard. Sailor was such a bright light in this world, and I know she has some really close friends in our class. I'm not sure if everyone is aware, but this past summer, Sailor's sister Callie and some of Sailor's closest friends made it their mission to complete Sailor's summer bucket list as a way of honoring her life. So in addition to the traits I have previously mentioned, when I look at our class, I also see compassion and I see strength. If you take anything away from this speech, let it be this. Every day we get on this earth is a precious gift. Sailor knew that. That's why she lived every day with intention. That's why when we remember her, we think of waking up every day and smiling. This life is not to be taken for granted, so no matter what you do with your life after this day, no matter what direction you decide to go in, just remember to take the time and thank God for each and every day and live your life with intention. Thank you.
Stole the rest of my paper. Next, I'd like to introduce fly fisherman extraordinaire, also our English teacher, commencement speaker, Mr. Jessup.
Mental health is a real thing. Good morning. Brought this so you guys would recognize me. I thought about dressing up as a big green circle with an L in the middle of it, but I didn't want to be confused with a social distancing circle and sat on by the Lawrence or Lamar family. One of the things I was told in a communications class in college was to get rid of public speaking nerves by imagining the audience in their underwear. During remote learning, I've gotten used to talking to unresponsive icons. Unresponsiveness is the same as agreeing with me, which is how I'm imagining all of you right now sitting out there, where you're just letters or kittens or political slogans, but at whitey-tighties, agreeing with me. I don't want to read too much into how the icons in underwear vibrate when talking though, so being unresponsive is just fine. Truth is, as horrible as talking to silent icons can be, I found out with this group that if I asked them to turn on the cameras, half the boys were going skins anyways, and then others would start peeling off their shirts, so I had to end those Google Meets OnlyFans pretty quick. I want to begin by talking about how I teach writing stories. I spend a lot of time on indirection, not talking about what you're talking about, and how good stories are never straight lines and rarely true in the strictest sense of the word. Norman MacLean said that stories of life are often more like rivers than books. They meander, which is something I am so incredibly grateful for. I'll explain later. And so I use an example of indirection in class, a circuitous, meandering story/lecture about how I tried to kill my dog, and about my grandma dying, and about my brother getting engaged to his girlfriend, to finally arrive at a point that was hopefully hinted at all along and offered as a discovery rather than a moral in the end. If I do the job right, I don't have to tell the kids that the story is about choosing to love despite the uncertainty and pain that love brings. They get it, or at least some of it. To be honest, I guess I'm not really sure how much of it they get at all, or for how long, which is part of the fiction of teaching, and assuming things are actually learned in any fixed way. Regardless, I want to practice a little indirection here. I apologize if it feels like I'm skipping around. Hopefully you'll understand by the end. When I tried to kill Atticus, he was really sick and needed to be put down, But because you're never more from Montana than when you don't live in Montana, we were living in Utah at the time, and because I'd read of Mice and Men one too many times, I felt like it was something I needed to do on my own. So I rolled up 32 prescription pain pills into a slice of turkey and fed it to him and put him in the barn to die. When Sarah got home, I met her at the door and confessed what I'd done. It was pretty quiet and depressing for a couple hours until Sarah yelled from the kitchen and I ran into the room and saw Atticus swaying back and forth on the deck, not dead, grinning from ear to ear because he was stoned out of his mind. Was he stoned? I don't know. Does a dog grin? I don't know. But the story wanted those details, so I added them. A few weeks ago, when I was first asked to speak at graduation, I saw two ways to go about it. There was the safe path that plays lip service to the tropes of graduation and is pleasantly unmemorable. And then there was the intellectually honest path that, if not memorable either, then at least lets me practice what I preach. Years ago, when I was leaving a cult, if you know anything about Jessups, you know what I'm talking about. I developed an acute intolerance for hypocrisy, especially in myself, and there's plenty of it still in there. I realized integrity, which my father-in-law, a man I greatly admire, defines as honesty coupled with courage, includes intellectual integrity, which means being consistent and fearless in the rules of thinking and applying what one, quote-unquote, knows to be true. Despite the warrior-like feeling of that, in practice it has been a series of personal humblings and the discovery of empathy for others and faith that life, like rivers, will take us all indirectly to truths we couldn't see earlier. Giving up the answers of my youth, and I still feel young, has been the hardest and greatest education of my life. For teachers at graduation, especially if we have high numbers, this occasion provides us an opportunity to pat ourselves on the back for sending so many of you off to whatever is next, college and career ready. I'm imagining a matching CCR backpack and lunch pail all lit up with LEDs or something like that, all of which is just a little too easy and escapes the gritty details of truth and therefore, for me, believability. It's a little like at a funeral when a complicated person is eulogized as a saint. Not to connect graduation and funerals, but I guess since I already went there, why not throw in marriage too? They share this similar characteristic of being a singular point, not unlike a period at the end of a declarative sentence, this conviction, I did, I do, that begets far more questions than answers. Are you really ready for what's next? How would you even know? Despite the checklist of things we think we know, these steps have always been leaps of faith. And I don't mean that in a religious sense, but as a lens on the mechanism in the brain or body that allows some of us to make big leaps without knowing how everything will turn out, and others small leaps, and even others to stand still, making no leap at all, which is itself still a choice of direction. My belief is that it has everything to do with the stories we tell ourselves and about others, and whether we are active or passive participants in those stories, especially when the plot twists and interjects outside of our control. Because here's the deal. There's a bunch of young women and men out here who are about to enter the next phase of their lives, and the adults in the room or in the bleachers and on this stage, as the case may be, have precious few answers on what that world will look like. It's changing weekly now, sometimes hourly. The irony of 2020 isn't lost. So how do we prepare our students to be in this world? Teach them to summarize the plot of a novel? Write a persuasive essay on why we should have open campus lunch? What is the relevance of that when kids are contemplating real violence over their political disagreements? When all the work we put into teaching tolerance and sound argumentation metastasizes into lobbing grenades on social media from a 5-inch foxhole to own somebody, label them something biting or clever, unfollow them. Hey Timmy, don't forget to capitalize the I's in your manifesto. And remember, Kool-Aid is spelled with a K. Over the years, I've had occasion to coach some students on their graduation speeches, and surprisingly, or not, as you may be realizing, my advice never seemed to make the final cut. I would suggest things like, You should talk about conflict, about all the things you didn't learn or earn, or things you lost or failed at. I told them to talk about awkward moments like tripping on the stairs, getting pantsed in Jim's class, bombing a test, getting rejected when you finally got the nerve to ask a popular boy or girl out, or even darker stuff. And not to leave out the details are everything. The students would laugh nervously like I wasn't serious and that no obvious symbolism connected the dots into an uplifting message. Would those stories just depress everyone? Isn't graduation supposed to be a celebration? I would counter that humans are hardwired to make connections and they retroactively apply meaning to random events, often constructively because we're generally optimists. And anyways, at least those kind of stories help humanize a ceremony that often glosses over non-canonized learning and reduces everything to cliches about epic journeys and climbing huge hills. More blank stares. At least it won't be boring, I finally say. When I told the story of how I tried to kill Atticus to the class, Scout heard it for the first time with them. She started crying, and the kids looked at me accusingly, and I wondered if I'd gone too far as a teacher or as a dad. But then I remembered the worst advice I ever got about teaching. When I was just starting out, my mentor, Mr. Olson, a veteran teacher of 30 years, told me that I must never, ever share personal details about my own life with the kids, that they would eat me alive. He couldn't have been more wrong in the story he was telling me about those students who he had reduced to not people, and the story about himself to himself so he could be insulated against hurt and love. And I knew that I hadn't gone too far with my story. I've got further to go still. Reduction is different from deconstruction. The former leads to generalizations, to labels, to prejudice, the latter to myriad details and understandings. At one point early in the year, Mr. Jensen said, and I'm paraphrasing here, so if I get the spirit of this wrong, then I guess it only reflects how interpretation is the more important half of communication. That one measure of a successful education is being able to sit at the dinner table and participate in an intelligent conversation. In the deconstruction school of thought, one of the first steps is to challenge hidden assumptions around words and their definitions. A couple of key words in Mr. Jensen's statement warrant challenging. Does success, for example, equal a graduate degree, a bachelor's degree, a high school diploma, a dollar figure in the bank account, a family that sits together at the dinner table? Does intelligent mean someone agreeing with everything you think? Or does it allow for disagreement? And more pointedly, how much disagreement? How committed are we to diversity of opinion, or these days, diversity of fact? And what are the implications if we privately say, maybe not even out loud, that intelligence only reflects our own viewpoints or world experience? That anyone with a differing idea, especially when it comes to those favorite dinnertime discussions on religion and politics, is ignorant or other or worse. In a longer talk, I might braid in a story here about religious cult life. You know, strong family values with tons of brothers and sisters, home-baked meals, weekly clothes washings, daily brainwashings, the awesomeness of knowing what it meant to be righteous and chosen and not going to hell like everyone else in the world. Not now, a little too on the nose. You are more than students who can't be trusted with personal details. You are more than A or C or F students, college or career bound. You are more than who you are now. We are more than teachers who go into closets during the summer and dust ourselves off when school starts again. The parents here are more than moms or dads, and that deep discovery of their humanity has been and will be a revelation in empathy your entire life. We are more than believers of one faith or ideology. We are more than red or blue Americans. Peel away the convenient labels and myriad details make possible rich understanding. I have read and listened to the voices of these guys over the last 4 years as they have searched for and discovered their own evolving stories, shared their feelings in our feeling circles, debated angrily or silently stewed on challenging alternative perspectives, including my own, consumed a lot of Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper, had a handful of come to Jesus talks that sometimes resulted in tears and angry, cathartic venting, stuffed their faces full of cake, helped me through a ruptured Achilles running lines at practice, fly fished with Jim Abney and cave dived with Mr. B, quoted Shakespeare in the hallway to Shanks or on the ski slopes to the trees, tried to unmask secret Hitlers and board game club, jammed on the top of my tables to Black Sabbath, and took in some radical ideas from talking gorillas and Orwellian dystopias, like how the blind consumption of goods or ideas without challenging them only guarantees our demise. We talked about fact and opinion, truth and perspective, and the way we come to learn things and value their objective worth in the world. A bunch of this flew past their heads, and it still may be floating out there. But as Colt Thornus reminded me recently, as if he were removing a mental PPE mask, there's nothing more contagious than ideas. He was right. We should be thoughtful in how we breathe them on each other, or how quickly we rush to get infected or spread them when they resonate too well with a prejudice or a bias. Words can be tools, weapons, or gifts. How will you use yours? I absolutely believe the anchor that can keep us grounded in these turbulent times is education, but it has a lot more to do with asking questions like why and how than the pseudo-security of self-insulating answers rooted in narrow ideology. I looked for the words humility and empathy in the standard and didn't find them. Although if you open up the history books and novels, they sometimes fall out like dried flowers. It's the kids with their heads down all the time who seem to find them most often there on the floor. But who cares about fragile stuff like that, right? It's so much nicer to be smug and powerful all the time. I have spent some time there. Intellectual integrity requires acknowledging that even though the end products of what we believe differ vastly, we all share the same process in how we come to learn and know. But the assumption that we have answers for others without having walked in their skins sends me right back to that counterfeit empowerment I felt, being so uniquely chosen by God that I, number 24 of 59 brothers and sisters, go ahead and process the contradictions, felt entitled to indiscriminately cast stones at sinners whose only sin was being different. So what I'm really grateful for are the unforeseen hazards in the river, the people and predicaments we can't plan for, that force us to reevaluate everything we think we know about how we learn, how we teach, how we remain or become good people. Eric Roth, the screenwriter of The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, wrote, "For what it's worth, it's never too early or too late to be whoever you want to be. There's no time limit. Stop whenever you want. You can change or stay the same. There are no rules to this thing. We can make the best or the worst of it. I hope you make the best of it. And I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you feel things you never felt before. I hope you meet people with a different point of view. I hope you live a life you're proud of. If you find that you're not, I hope you have the courage to start all over again." To the class of 2020, be more than blind consumers of media. Be more than cogs in a machine pursuing dollars over everything else. Be more than t-shirt slogan politics. Reflect before you react. Think critically. Challenge dogma. Have intellectual integrity. It is as important as any other type of courage or honesty. Aspire to not be hypocrites. And most importantly, in the absence of agreed upon truth, which rarely exists, choose kindness and being a good human unconditionally. I hope you deconstruct that idea for the rest of your lives. Then every indirect path you take from here today will lead toward a purpose for being and doing, in my humble opinion, much greater than a diploma or a degree or some dollars in your bank account. It has been my sincere pleasure working with this bunch of young women and young men, and I congratulate you on becoming authors of what I hope are some fine stories. I look forward to sitting down with you at dinner one day and hearing them in detail. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jessup. We are now ready to present the diplomas to the graduating class of 2020. I will now ask board members, Mr. Jensen, Mrs. Munson, to take your place to congratulate the class of 2020.
Bailey Lynn Goss. Bailey will be pursuing a job in graphic design in Oklahoma. Kira Joy Niemeyer. Kira will be attending Point Loma Nazarene University, pursuing a degree in sociology with a concentration in criminal justice. Ocean Bilan Burnham. Ocean will be attending Montana State University, pursuing a degree in real estate and interior design. Emma Lynn Mildren. Emma will be attending Montana State University, pursuing a degree in nursing. Kylie Rebecca McMullen. Kylie will be attending California State University in Monterey, pursuing a degree in marine science. Maya Allison Hardig. Maya will be attending St. Louis College of Pharmacy, pursuing a degree in medical humanities. Emma Elizabeth Scott. Emma will be attending Flathead Valley Community College, pursuing a degree in nursing. Caitlin Maya Christ. Caitlin plans to pursue a career in art. Ansley Marie Edgerton. Ansley will be attending Rocky Mountain College to play basketball for the Lady Bears and pursue a degree in biology. Carly Lynn Stodhill. Carly will be attending Boise State University, pursuing a degree in accounting or education. Elizabeth Michelle Kirby. Elizabeth will be attending Carroll College, majoring in biochemistry. Carson Digley. Carson will be attending Flathead Valley Community College, pursuing a degree in exercise science. Jack Christopher Slaughter. Jack will be attending Montana State University Northern, pursuing a degree in automotive technology.
Thank God you're out of here.
Asher Bennett Van Campen. Asher plans to enter the workforce. Courtney Joanne Bays. Courtney will be attending University of Montana Western, majoring in biology. Ashton May McNally. Ashton will be attending University of Montana Western, studying biology. Maggie Marie Pizzola. Maggie will be attending University of Montana, pursuing a degree in dental hygiene. Meredith Paget Bedford. Meredith will be attending Whitworth College, playing tennis, and pursuing a degree in environmental science with a minor in journalism. She later plans to go to law school. Isabella Johanna Santa-Steven. Isabella plans to play college golf and pursue a degree in business to become a realtor. Emily Lynn Bonner. Emily plans to attend California Baptist University. Madison Ray Mueller. Madison will be attending Flathead Valley Community College, later pursuing a degree in music therapy from Frost School of Music in Miami. Josie Virginia Rose Charlin. Josie plans to begin a career in the creative industry. Reed DeMars. to enter the family business. Alec James Taylor. Alec will be attending University of Montana Western. Abigail Brooke Benton. Abby plans to attend the South Carolina School of the Arts. Elizabeth Shea Meisner. Shea will be entering the workforce. Brandon William Hopkins. Brandon plans on attending Flathead Valley Community College. Aiden G. Butterfield. Aiden will be joining the Navy. Chloe Catherine Vigran. Chloe will be attending the University of Tennessee, pursuing a degree in forensic anthropology. Monique Danae Gomez. Monique will be attending the University of Montana, studying exercise science. Jocelyn Marie Raridan. Jocelyn will be pursuing a career in art. Hayden Nicole Lamar. Hayden plans to attend Flathead Valley Community College before heading to MSU. Chloe Ryland Sisler. Chloe will be attending University of Montana. McCade Shera. McCade will be joining the workforce in a construction apprenticeship. Rory Scout Jessup. Scout will be attending Flathead Valley Community College. Benjamin Keller. Ben will be attending Dartmouth College, pursuing a degree in environmental science. Callista Jane Gray. Callista will be entering the workforce to become a freelance artist.
I was like, that is not what he said.
Daniel Von Penrod. Daniel will be entering the workforce. Colton James Thornis. Colt will be attending the University of Providence, playing basketball and pursuing a degree in business administration.
Good job, Cole.
Jimmy Robert Abney. Jimmy has joined the Montana Army National Guard. Rob Daniel Kaiser. Rob has joined the U.S. Army Airborne. Adam Wormer. Adam will be attending Think Big Caterpillar at Laker Area Technical Institute in South Dakota. Connor Lawrence. Connor will be attending Flathead Valley Community College and then on to University of Montana, where he will major in media arts with a minor in computer science. Nathaniel James Frizzell. Nate will be attending Flathead Valley Community College. Reed Barrows. Reed will be attending Montana State University. Anton Young. Anton will be attending Washington University in St. Louis, pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree. Wyatt Remington Reichenbach. Wyatt will be attending Montana State University, studying project management. Elias Donald Hines. will be attending Montana State University studying pre-law and criminal justice. Ashley Ann Miller. Ashley will be attending the University of Montana pursuing a degree in journalism. Caitlin Mackenzie Reese. Caitlin will be attending Flathead Valley Community College. Ashley Mary Anderson. Ashley will be attending Montana State University pursuing degrees in equine science and business. Elise Marie Hendley. Elise will be attending University of Montana to study political science and later attend law school. Nathan Scott DeRozier. Nathan will be entering the workforce. David Thomas Wickwire IV. David will be attending Flathead Valley Community College, pursuing a degree in welding. Chase Pacheco. Chase has joined the Montana Army National Guard and will be headed back to Fort Benning to become an infantryman. Lorenzo Rio Martinez. Lorenzo will be pursuing a career in accounting while also completing volunteer disaster relief work. Baltazar Alcaraz. Baltazar plans to enter the workforce. Patty Laura Ann Emsley. Patty will be attending Flathead Valley Community College to pursue a career in nursing. Karina Joanne Wallace. Karina plans to attend the University of Providence to run track and major in psychology and addiction counseling. Aubrey Rose Halverson. Aubrey will be attending Arizona State University pursuing a degree in justice studies. Josephine Ray Howlett. Josie will be attending Carroll College pursuing a degree in communications. Nicholas Anthony Smetana. Nick will be pursuing a career in bull riding and heavy equipment operation. Noah Daniel Holtmeyer. Noah will be joining the United States Marine Corps. Donovan John Reynoso. Donovan will be pursuing a career in business. Acacia Otten. Acacia enjoys art, writing, and composing music and hopes to pursue a path in these areas. Destiny Alicia Otten. Destiny will be pursuing a career in architecture. Taylor McKay Pilch. Taylor will be attending Montana State University pursuing a degree in marketing. Dylan J. Amos. Dylan will be attending University of Montana pursuing a degree in cybersecurity. Our graduates in absentia are Kaylee Clayton, Chloe Storist, Cody Neese, and Micah Miller. Congratulations, you guys. I'm so proud of you.
had them run a lap or something. It is now my privilege to invite Superintendent Matt Jensen to the podium to present the class of 2020. With Senior Class President Benjamin Keller, please join him at this time.
Here's just a few more words this time. Students, parents, members of the board, guests, it gives me great pleasure to announce the class of 2020 has met all state and district requirements for high school graduation. Seniors, please rise.
Fellow seniors, move your tassel from right to left.
Looks like they're ready to go. Senior class of Bigfork High School, I'd like to thank you for joining us here today and at home. I want one more word. I don't know if it's advice, but I want you to know, quoted by Miss Shanks, that you are all loved. Enjoy your life.
We love you too!